It was a chance to have somewhat of a family reunion, so it was always great times. I actually went to Indiana University and studied sports broadcasting. I was lucky that they had that major, and that's what I always wanted to do. I mean, from a kid, I thought I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. Thought it would probably be basketball. Indiana's a basketball state, but I grew up watching TVG all the time. I love working at TVG. I knew everybody before I even signed on as a full-time employee because I watched the network so much. One angle that I like, that I go back to, is when you have a bad race with an obvious excuse. Let's say you have a sprinter that goes long, runs fifth, they come back sprinting. You don't care about the fifth anymore. You're sprinting. Of course, it's on the dirt. They try the grass, run eighth. Who cares about the eighth? You come back to the dirt. But here's the deal. That last line, bettors overplay it quite often. So the bad race with the proper excuse, you'll always find value.
Yes, the NFL season is here. What up, gamblers, and welcome to week one. Yes, we made it, and you're watching More Ways to Win. You're in the right place. I'm your host, Lisa Kearney, inside the FanDuel Sportsbook here at the Meadowlands, home to your New York Giants and New York Jets. All right, guys, I'm joined by our team of sports betting experts. These guys are here to help you make all that money. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now to place your bets with their advice. Plug in the promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it's legal, it is so much fun. So let's get this party started. They're ready, I'm ready, you're ready, and we're kicking things off with show here in the New York Football Giants, getting going on Monday night, starting their season right here at the Meadowlands. The Giants are getting 5.5 points here at home, guys. Dave Weaver, coming to you first. Do they cover?
I think the Giants are going to cover here. You know, this is a line that opened up 3.5, and it has quickly now moved closer to 6. But I think the Giants really are going to play well against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. It was, let's face it, very good last year. But here's the problem for Pittsburgh. Their offense, they absolutely stunk, and a lot of people are putting the blame on Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. But Big Ben, when he played week number 1 before he got hurt, he looked just as bad as those guys did, throwing 20 incompletions. Guy hasn't played in forever, Pony, and I see a lot of rust here on Roethlisberger's arm. I know he's claiming he's never felt better and he's super healthy. Prove it to me. Give me the 5.5 points.
Dave, the power of persuasion, you've convinced me to take the Giants in this game. Well, actually, you haven't. It has nothing to do with you and much more to do with the injuries that I'm seeing out of Pittsburgh. We're looking at 3 new offensive line starters for this game. David DeCastro is likely to miss. He's one of the best guards in the NFL. And I am starting to buy into the theory that Roethlisberger is going to need some time to find his rhythm. He called himself so nervous, he says, I'm going to be shaking like a leaf out there for game 1. The rust is going to be a problem. I'm going to take the Giants getting 5.5 points.
I mean, all those injuries are a legit concern, guys. Hey, tail our experts here, and here's how you cash in, Giants fans. Put down $50 on New York, plus 5.5. They're getting points at home here at the Meadowlands. If they cover, you collect almost $98. And FanDuel is offering odds boosts on the app that give you more bang for your buck. Giants fans, one of those special bets is for this week 1 matchup we just talked about, and you're going to find it in the odds boost section of the app. Check it out. You can get plus 420 for a bet on the Giants winning against the Steelers and more than 48 total points scored in the game. That's plus 420, you guys. And I'll do the math for you. If you place a $50 bet on that special odds boost, you'll collect $210. Check it out. Take advantage of other odds boosts on the FanDuel Sportsbook app as well. All right, moving on here on the show while the Giants hold it down here at the Meadowlands. The Jets are kicking off their season on the road, guys. Gang Green is getting 6.5 points at Buffalo. Dave, give me your pick here.
I think Buffalo's fake. You know, they beat a lot of bad teams last year. They beat one winning team, the Tennessee Titans, who was 1 game above 500. They're beating teams like the Giants, the Redskins, the Dolphins, the Bengals. Yeah, they also beat the Jets last year. But the Jets seem to match up well offensively against the Bills. When you look at the 2 games last year, the Bills did not score a point in the first half on the Jets. So I think they can keep this pretty low scoring getting into halftime. And I'm not sold on the Bills, Pony. 6.5 points, too many points. Give me the Jets.
Yeah, a bad team is the Jets personified, Dave. They're terrible. And that's why I like Buffalo at home to cover the spread actually quite easily, as it turns out. The Jets, this is a huge mismatch. It's the Bills defense that was number 2 in football last year, scoring D, against the Jets offense that I don't know what Adam Gase is trying to do. All their wide receivers are banged up. Perryman, among them, Mims, and these are not great players to begin with. And Le'Veon Bell, what is his role? This is a guy that averaged 3.2 yards per carry last year, didn't ever run over 20 yards, and now Frank Gore might eat into his touches. So Bills defense, I think, will rule the day, and they'll cover the 6 points.
Guys, Sam Darnold is already on New York radio talking about getting a new contract. Jets fans, he's confident. Be confident in your quarterback. Your team is getting 6.5 points here on the road. A winning $50 bet on that line gets you more than $95. It's FanDuel Sportsbook app. And let's bring in the guy that you're taking all that money from, the odds maker himself. Mr. John Sheeran sets the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. John, we're talking Giants and Jets here. Any early betting trends that you've seen that you have you rethinking a specific line for these teams here in week 1?
We've been speaking about the line in the Steelers-Giants game for the last couple of weeks, Lisa. The Steelers line was sitting at -3.5 for the last few weeks, in fact. We said that was a lot of value and that it wouldn't last. About 95% of the money that we've seen in that market was for the Steelers. That opportunity for all that value ended this week at 5.5. We've moved it out to 5.5 now. But it hasn't really changed the bettors' opinions. They're still coming very strongly for the Steelers. I think me and Weaver could probably play OL for Pittsburgh and still manage to win that game. So 85% of the money now for Pittsburgh. I think the Jets line is a little bit more interesting. I think the vast majority of the money that we've seen has definitely been for the Bills, about 85% of it, in fact. But I've seen enough sharp play for the Jets at around about a touchdown to think that it won't get as far as +7, Lisa. I think they'll keep it just under, but we'll need the Jets in a pretty big way come kickoff.
Great insight, Sharon, as always. We'll see you again in just a few minutes. Let's get to some popular futures bets on the board that are only available until the early games kick off on Sunday, so keep that in mind. One of those is regular season win total. It's a simple over or under bet, so it's easy for anyone to make, and it's a fun one to play with your friends. So I'm going to bring Dave Weaver back in here now. Dave, you're my buddy. You're my friend. I know you've got my back. The FanDuel Sportsbook has the Giants' regular season win total at 6. Do you think the G-men go over or under 6 total wins, Dave?
I think they're going to go over, and I like that this line is 6 because there's a chance they could be 6-10, and I get my money back. I don't see them being a 5-11 team this year. I really love the fact that Daniel Jones knows that this is his offense now. He's not sharing time with Eli Manning. He's got some great weapons, one of the best backs in the league with Saquon. They got Shepard and Slayton and Ingram to throw to. And the big key for me this year for the New York Giants, they picked up Blake Martinez, the leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. He is really going to help this defense, which stunk last year, 30th in the NFL. In points given up. So I think offensively and defensively, this is a very promising unit this year, and I see them maybe closer to 500, but for sure 7-9. So give me the over.
All right. I like the optimism, Dave. I really do. Each of their first 5 opponents had a winning record last season. But, hey, I think you're right. They're going to surprise some people here. Giants fans, think your team can win more than 6 games? Go ahead and tail Dave there. Place a winning $50 bet. You collect more than $93. All right, guys, let's put some math to our money now and get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Found a couple lines that you really like, so let's expose them here for our viewers. Where did the numbers take us, Ed?
Well, Lisa, let's start with the total between Miami and New England. And I know a lot of talk, kerfuffle, whatever you want to call it, has been about the quarterback situation in New England. But I want to talk about the Miami quarterback situation, particularly Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is a dangerous quarterback to bet on because of his volatility. Per Next Gen Stats, Fitzpatrick had the 4th highest aggressive throw percentage at 20.9%, meaning the nearest defender was within a yard of the intended target. He's been that way throughout his entire career. Also last year, Fitzpatrick finished 7th in intended air yards per pass attempt at 8.9. The passing game isn't clicking. Well, yeah, incompletions, but also interceptions, especially against an opportunistic secondary like New England's. Cam Newton is now at the helm for the Patriots. I expect a conservative game plan as they start to ease them into the fold. I'm not expecting too many points. Take the under here.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you in this game, Ed, because I think you're right. It's two defensive-minded coaches. It's a Belichick protege, Brian Flores for Miami. It's Bill Belichick, obviously, for New England. And when you're dealing with the weird offseason, new quarterback in New England, a totally new offense in Miami where you've got running backs like Breida and Jordan Howard now, new arrivals, I agree. I think it's going to take some time, and that's why I think the under is a very good bet.
And Pony, another bet that I think has some good value here is Tom Brady's new team, the Bucs, getting 3.5 against the Saints. What should we expect from this Tampa Bay offense with Tom Brady and without Jameis Winston? Well, let's look at last year first. Winston ranked second in football in average intended air yards at 10.5. That's insane. Leads to a lot of deep completions. It also leads to a lot of interceptions. Winston was third in bad throw percentage at 20.6. Now, for Tom Brady, last year with, safe to say, less talented receivers, well, his average intended air yards was 7.6, and yet his bad throw percentage was still high, fourth worst, and right at the mark at 20.6%. I think it's going to take the Buccaneer offense a little bit of time to get used to Tom Brady. I think they will be worse with him than with Jameis Winston. I think the Saints cover the spread.
I'm going to disagree with you here, Ed, because the problem for the Saints is they gave up a lot of points in week number 1. They have not covered in week 1 now, 6 straight seasons. And here are the points given up their last 4 seasons: 28, 48, 29, and 35. So I think you can pencil in the Bucs for about 5 touchdowns. Now, if the Saints go crazy and score 6, more power to them. But I think that the Bucs are going to keep this one close, so I'm fading you.
Great points by both guys, but here's what it is. It's a battle of the GOATs. Do you guys want to tail Dave? Think the Bucs can cover the 3.5 they're getting against Drew Brees and the Saints? Bet $50 on Tom and his new teammates, and you'll get almost $98 on a winning bet. And if you prefer placing a money line bet, super easy to make here. FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you extra cash with the Score 35 double winnings promotion. If you place a moneyline bet on a week 1 game and your team scores more than 35 points, the FanDuel Sportsbook is going to double your winnings. So place a moneyline bet, root for your team to win and score more than 35 points, and double your winnings up to $50. All right, guys, it's time to turn things up here on this show with our More Ways Wildest Wagers of the Week. Guys, dig into your bag of tricks here, get a little bit nuts. Dave, you first. What's your wildest wager of the week?
All right, I'm going to play no laughing pony. I'm going to play a 3-team money line parlay with 3 underdogs, and I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to go into Baltimore and win, just like they did last year where Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb shredded them. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins to beat what I think is going to be a very flat New England Patriots team this year, and I'm going to take the Rams to win their home opener against the Dallas Cowboys. Combine those 3 teams to win, and I'm getting over 30-1 odds. Thank you.
Nah, Dave, you haven't learned your Browns lesson from last year. Come on, man. I'm just
year.
Yeah, okay. I'm still just flummoxed by that. Look, this is my pick. I've got Cam Akers as a rookie running back with the LA Rams to lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns, and here's why. Look at Todd Gurley last year on that offense. Even on a down year that got him cut, 12 rushing touchdowns. Okay, we know that they love to feed the back around the goal line. It's not Jared Goff trying to throw it every which way. They used a 2nd-round pick on Cam Akers out of Florida State. Don't be surprised if this guy comes out of nowhere. Everyone's talking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis. I like Cam Akers to have a big year in L.A.
Okay. Cam Akers just made a new best friend. I love it, Pony. All that plus money, guys. I dig it. Those bets are pretty wild, but you know I'm in. Are you guys with our guys on their long shots? That's the question. Check out those bets and so much more right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. All right, let's get to another futures bet here. Dave, we talked about Giants win total. Let's give some love now to these Jets. Gang Green's line at the FanDuel Sportsbook is 6.5 total wins on the season. Are you going over or under that number?
I'm going to go under. I'm not buying the fact that they're going to win 7 games this year. I think there's actually a chance they end up more like 3-13. They're only easy games, and if you call those easy, would be the Dolphins and the Raiders later on, like weeks 12 and 13, when they have them at home. And I don't think those are going to be slam dunk type of games. They don't have that easy of a schedule. I just see them struggling here early on in the season and finding themselves somewhere around 1-6 early on, and from there. And that's kind of where they were last year before they rallied with some wins late in the year. But that's too big of a number for me. I'm going to take the under.
Dave, I thought you liked it here at the Meadowlands. I thought you liked the fans that you get to experience here at the Meadowlands. Man, 3-13. You taking the under, but you really went under. Remember, the Jets went 6-2 straight up in their last 8 games in 2019. Gang Green, hang on to your positive feelings and go into this thing confident. Place a winning $50 bet on the Jets to win more than 6.5 games. So you're going to collect $105. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, guys, it is easy, it's legal, and it is live, and tons of fun with us. It's week 1. Let's do this thing. You don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account. What are you waiting for? The time is now. If you sign up now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Yep, just download the app, sign up for an account using the promo code right there on your screen. It's more ways 1,000. If your first bet doesn't hit, hey, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. So I say let's party. Dave, Pony, Ed, got to get you guys back in here. I can't have a party of one. You have up to $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet here, guys. Let's make our viewers some money. Give me a division winner bet that you're hammering that's going to lead to a really big payout here. And Dave, I'm coming right back to you first.
Well, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. Here's a team that's 7-1 right now, so $1,000 wouldn't be $7,000. Big favorites in the division are the Saints and the Bucks. They've got Drew Brees and Tom Brady. These guys, like me, were born in the 1970s. Come on. I mean, I don't know if either of these guys are going to get through the year. Matt Ryan, spring chicken at 35. I think the Falcons are going to have a good year. They beat the Niners and the Saints last year on the road. When they're at their best, they can win this division, and those odds are massive.
Well, I'm looking at a division where I don't think there's a clear-cut great team, and that's the NFC North, and that's why I'm going to use my risk-free $1,000 wager to collect $6,000 on the Detroit Lions to go worst to first in the NFC North. We all know why they finished last year. Dave's been beating this drum. They were playing guys like David Blau at quarterback in the second half of the year. Now it's Matt Stafford back off that back injury. When he played last year, they were the 4th best offense in the NFL. The defense is improved with Jeff Okudah at corner. He'll take away a side of the field, just like Darrelle Revis used to do in that Jets defense. And you've got Jamie Collins, who comes over from New England to solidify linebacker. A big sleeper, the Lions in the NFC North.
How in the world is it that a team makes it to the AFC Championship game, looks great in the first quarter on the road, doesn't win, but makes it competitive, and now all of a sudden we're calling them bums? I don't believe it. The Tennessee Titans, they can win the AFC South here. What they did last season was not a fluke once they put Ryan Tannehill in at quarterback. He's got a great offensive line in front of him, top 5 in terms of pressure run blocking. That has made Derrick Henry a star. Tannehill, more passing yards per play action pass attempts than any other quarterback in football, and had he played the entire season, he would have had far more play-action passing yards than anybody. They are my pick, especially with Jadeveon Clowney. $1,000 risk-free scores me $1,650.
Emphatic, Ed, on a team that has definitely gone under the radar there in the Titans. Hey, get 1 plus 165 for the Titans to win the AFC South. Do your thing, gamblers. And this bet is only available until the early games kick off on Sunday morning. Please keep that in mind. Make sure to sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bets. And remember, use that promo code on your screen. More ways 1,000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it's legal, and it is live. Take your winnings if you hit and just get your money back if you don't, because that is how we roll. Appreciate you having you with us as always. Great stuff by those guys. John, Sharon, got to get you back in here because they're placing those bets risk-free. What we need from you is your exclusive insight on the hottest bet right now at the Sportsbook. The one line that everybody is betting on here in week 1. Which one is it, Sharon?
Over the past few weeks, Lisa, it's all been about Tampa Bay and the Super Bowl market, into 15-1, almost $2 million in liability. It's literally been the exact same thing for week one. A huge demand for them as an underdog in New Orleans, as we know. We opened that line at 5.5, Lisa, smashed all the way down now to way closer to a field goal. Also seen a ton of money for Tom Brady, TB12 and his supporting cast as the underdog in the money line around plus 150 as well. So that's by far and away the strongest one. The other one I would offer is very, very obvious. The Indianapolis Colts are just over a touchdown favorite against Jacksonville. It's probably what you would expect. Some of the early shoppers got a ton of value, Lisa. We opened at 4.5 a few months ago, solid now at over a touchdown.
Thanks, Sharon. Great stuff there. Now, we're here at the Meadowlands where there are tons of Giants and Jets bets available. But you can also wager on your favorite team right from your phone, tablet, whatever you got right in front of you. The FanDuel Sportsbook app has hundreds of bets waiting for you right now. So let's take a closer look at which one of those lines gives bettors the best value. I want to bring in our betting experts. Hey, guys, to give us their best Giants or Jets wagers on the board. Dave, you're looking at what's in front of you. What do you like the most? You get us started.
Well, you can bet on the game. You could also bet on the half. You can also bet on quarters as well. But let's focus on the Bills and the Jets. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the show that last year in both the games, they did not score until the second half. So I'm looking at this first half line. The total is at 20 points. I don't think they're going to come anywhere close to that. I'm going to take under 20, thinking that's going to be something around 6-3 at halftime. I think it'll be a very slow-paced game early on. So that's my play of the week.
And I'm going to take the under on a season-long bet. Le'Veon Bell, under his rushing yards total. We know the Jets are going to be playing catch-up in so many of these games where they fall behind with no Jamal Adams at safety. It's a mash unit for the Jets. They've got to throw to keep up. That means Le'Veon Bell isn't going to get many touches as a running back, maybe as a wide receiver, and even then you have to question how much the coach actually likes the $13 million running back, going way under on his rushing total.
Every so often, John Sheeran drops a knowledge bomb on us, and it is important that we embrace it. What he said earlier is important. The earlier, the better for a lot of these bets. So I'm looking at week 2, Giants 5.5-point dogs to the Bears. If you go by end-of-season ELO ratings, 5.5 is about right in terms of overall ability between Chicago and the G-men. But Daniel Jones is entering his second season in football, where we are all expecting some significant improvement. He also has a lower expected turnover rate for this season than Mitch Trubisky. And, oh, by the way, he had a higher EPA-CPOE composite than Mitch Trubisky. I'm taking the Giants' money line. I think New York wins that game outright.
All right, lay 100 to make 205. It's an easy bet to make. Those money line bets are so much fun to play. That's the good stuff right there. Thanks, guys. Check out those bets and, of course, all the other Giants and Jets wagers available right now, right in front of you on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's week 1. Have I mentioned that? I'm so excited it's week 1, but with week 1 comes a modified season with no preseason games. So most players are relatively healthy, but some are definitely coming back from season-ending injuries from last year. The biggest name returning to the field is Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. The 38-year-old had season-ending surgery to repair 3 tendons in his elbow, but hey, he says he's now lighter than he's been in almost 15 years. He's feeling good. Pro Football Doc David Chow tells us what we can expect from the Steelers quarterback.
Of course, Big Ben is one of the most talked about injuries coming into the season for the franchise quarterback on his throwing elbow. The team's been very optimistic about the, quote, Tommy John surgery. Sometimes I get scared when teams feel that way, but in this case, I agree. Football players, quarterback throwing motions are different than baseball players. They recover more quickly than the 12 to 18 months a pitcher needs. Jake Delhomme and other quarterbacks have recovered that quickly before, so I'm optimistic that Big Ben will be fine. Add to it that he's shortened up his throwing motion, and that might help protect the elbow, increase his accuracy, and get the ball out of his hands a split second more quickly. And there may be upside to all this offseason rehab and surgery for the Steelers quarterback.
Thanks for that insight, Doc. We have just a few minutes left in the show now. We're going to get our experts' Super Bowl picks in just a moment. But first, another really popular futures bet that has a lot of value right now. Regular season MVP. It's one of the most popular prop bets on the board right now. Check it out, FanDuel Sportsbook app under Player Props. Hey, my fantasy and hometown quarterback Patrick Mahomes is a huge favorite. Not a surprise, guys. Then you've got last year's winner Lamar Jackson tied with Russell Wilson for the second favorite there. Dave, coming to you. Where are you going with this one for a regular season MVP?
I'm going to go back to the 2016 MVP because the odds are so good right now on Matt Ryan. Again, I'm a big believer in what I think the Falcons offense is going to do. Nobody throws the ball more than offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter. I think they're going to air it out. Matt Ryan's going to have a huge season.
Well, I look for value here, and you got to go to quarterbacks because they're the guys that win this award, and that's why I'm going to take Jared Goff. Not necessarily because I think the Rams are going to, win the whole thing, but because I just see way too much value at plus 5,000, 50 to 1 on a quarterback that's already gotten a team to the promised land before.
Tony, I agree with you that this basically is a quarterback award. Which team in the NFL has the best trio of receivers? Well, it might be in Arizona. Who has the best offensive line in football? Well, one of them could be in Arizona. They're all going to make quarterback Kyler Murray look great. I think the Cardinals are a real sleeper here. Kyler Murray for MVP.
You bet. Jared Goff wants to light it up in that brand new facility, that beautiful, gorgeous stadium. 50 to 1 odds there, guys. I told you, it's gold if you hit these bets and you put them in now. A $50 bet on Pony's long shot there. Jared Goff gets you $2,500. Hey, I promised it. Now we deliver. Let's talk Super Bowl, guys. This bet is under the championship tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Super intuitive there. Check out the value you're getting on all the teams listed right now. Even if you're taking one of the favorites, guys, the Chiefs, Ravens, or Niners. Let's make some money here. Pony, give me your pick for Super Bowl winner.
Well, I'm going off the board again. I like Arizona. There's something about the second-year quarterback. We saw Patrick Mahomes win a Super Bowl in his second year as a starter. Lamar Jackson, the MVP. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Chandler Jones. Watch out for Arizona.
Remember, no preseason, so I want a team that has everybody back. Who is that? It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, by the way, they got better because they have the Rookie of the Year running back with their first-round pick. So give me the Chiefs, even though they're only 6 to 1.
I love the logic there, but I want a little more of a payout. That's why I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees was second in EPA, CPOE composite, first in overall offensive success rate. Defense was 10th best in success rate. I think the Saints hoist the Lombardi.
I could definitely see a Chiefs and Saints Super Bowl there. Guys, I mentioned the value for odds on these Super Bowl bets. So here's what it means really in dollars and cents. Did the math for you. A $50 bet on Ponies Cardinals would win you more than $2,500. And you can place your bets now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And now it's time to get to the guy that's going to just move all of these lines once teams start winning anyways. Sheeran, what do you think of their picks?
I think Pony's been hanging out with Weaver far too much, picking Jared Goff to be MVP, and I love Dave Weaver's money line bet, but I think we have to do a boost on that, Lisa, 50 to 1 or something, because 33 to 1 shot, 3-team money line parlays. Weaver, give up, will you?
I don't quit.
Hey, Sheeran, where's the public money going for the Super Bowl winner right now?
Tampa Bay, Lisa. It's just all about Tom Brady. 15 to 1. Like I said, nearly $2 million in exposure. Expect that to swell before we see them on Sunday against the Saints as well. So at all costs, not Tampa Bay, please.
Hey, we're kicking off week 1 right now. We're talking about the two teams that are kicking things off. We haven't seen NFL football in 221 days, but it's always fun to talk about those last two teams that'll be standing. Thanks for hanging with us, guys. That'll do it. That is a wrap. Appreciate you watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win with us. Take our experts' tips. Make yourself some cash here. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Do it right now. Do it today. It's free, easy, and legal. We've got extra love, new users. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Get that risk-free bet up to $1,000 right now. Thanks for hanging with us. Enjoy week 1 and kickoff here, and good luck with your bet.
Fund your account with TVG BetCash. a credit or debit card, PayPal, a TVG prepaid card, Green Dot Money Pack, or Pay Near Me. Fund your account now. TVG.com.
Sister Charlie, take it up and win it. Second is Mooney. Powerful victory.
The coronation. Watch me as one for Francis Henri Graffard and Pierre-Charles Boudot.
Yes, it is here, everybody. Week 1 of the NFL season. We made it. What's up, Steelers and Eagles fans? Thanks for hanging with us. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kearney, inside the FanDuel Sportsbook here, and I'm joined by our team of sports betting experts. These guys are here to help you make money. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now to place your bets with their advice. Be sure to use the promo code on your screen. We'll keep it up throughout the show. It's More Ways 1000. Get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it's legal, and it's so much fun. So we're going to get this party started. They're ready, I'm ready, you're ready, and we're kicking off this show with the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road right here at the Meadowlands, guys, in Week 1. We've got a healthy Big Ben. He is back under center to face the Giants. Pittsburgh is giving 5.5 points on the road. Dave Weaver, who do you like in this matchup on Monday night?
Well, this line opened up at 3.5. It's now 5.5. I guess everybody thinks Big Ben's going to go out there and throw 5 touchdowns when he hasn't played in forever. I don't think that is the case. You know, let's face it, Hodges and Rudolph were no good last year, but neither was Big Ben. He didn't get hurt until week number 2. In week 1, Pony, he threw 20 incompletions. He's now gone 10 straight seasons throwing an interception in week number 1. I think Big Ben is going to be rustier than a can of Iron City beer in my grandpa's basement over in Mount Lebanon off of Green Tree Road. Give me a break. Laying 5.5 on the road with a quarterback that hasn't played in, I mean, come on.
Well, you could throw those stats out, though, from last year. They were against New England. They were on the road against Belichick and Brady and the defense that ended up producing the player of the year on that side of the ball in Stephon Gilmore. But, Dave, I don't understand why this line is moving towards the Steelers when they're the team right now that is having massive injury issues to the tune of their offensive line is completely recalibrated for this game. David DeCastro, their all-pro right guard, is out. They're working in a new starter at right tackle. They're moving their right tackle to left guard. It's musical chairs protecting a quarterback that hasn't played in a year. The Steelers' defense will be fine, but I think they're going to struggle to score points, and that's why the new number, 5.5, I'm actually taking the Giants to cover.
Is that Iron City beer? Are we talking 16 ounce? Are we talking 40 ounce? Like, what are we working with here, Steelers fans? Hey, I don't care what you do. If you place a bet on Pittsburgh and they cover the 5.5 points, you're going to collect more than $93 on your bet. Cheer on your team and cheer on your bet and get your winnings. All right, now is the time to hit some futures bets. There are some popular futures bets on the board that are only available until the early games kick off on Sunday, so definitely keep that in mind. One of those is regular season win total. Simple over or under bet, so it's easy for anyone to make here. And great to bet with friends, of course. And I'm bringing in my friend, Dave Weaver. Get back in here, Dave. Steelers fans want wins. We know that. Question for you is, how many? The line at the FanDuel Sportsbook is 9 right now. Are you going over or under 9 wins for these Steelers this year?
All right, I know it's a little harsh on Big Ben to start. I mean, it might be a slow week, number one, but he will get it rolling, and they might even win that game. I think the Giants cover. But over the course of the year, the Steelers are going to be fantastic. They have great wideouts. Their defense is tops in the league, and if Big Ben can make it through the 16-game season, the Steelers are going to win 12 of those games. I have the Steelers and the Ravens tied at the top of the division, both 12-4. So we're going way over the 9.
All right, great stuff, Dave. And Steelers fans think your team can win more than 9 games. Hey, if Big Ben stays healthy, feel confident here. Place a winning $50 bet, collect more than $95. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Let's get to the Eagles now. Philly is at Washington, kicking off their season with a division matchup here. Guys, the Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite. Dave, do they cover?
I love a lot of underdogs this week, but this is one of the few favorites that I think wins pretty easily. The Eagles just have a history lately of going into Washington and taking care of business. The last 3 years, they have beat Washington by an average of over 15 points a game. So I think they jump out to a big lead. And I love the fact that Miles Sanders is now their number 1 back regardless. Last year, week number 1, they were splitting carries between Jordan Howard, Darren Sproles, and Sanders. That's no good. You need a running back that's going to carry you. That'll be Miles Sanders this year. I think Philadelphia rolls.
But he needs an offensive line to open up holes for him, Dave, and they're moving Jason Peters back to left tackle because of all the injuries they've had there. Guard gets hurt, Brooks gets hurt in the offseason. Look, they're going up against the defensive line in Washington. That's the strength of the team. Every single one of those guys is first-round picks, including Chase Young, who's ready to make his debut. Similar theme to the first game we talked about. I do like Philly for the year. I like them to win, but I think the line is too big, and it's going to take Philly's offense some time, given their problems up front, and that's why Washington covers.
And that line has moved, guys. Philly fans has moved from 6.5 to 5.5. Here's how you cash in right now. Put down $50 on the Eagles, giving 5.5. If they cover, you collect more than $95. You can place that bet right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. So let's bring in the guy that you're taking all of that money from, the odds maker himself. John Sheeran sets the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. John, we're talking Steelers and Eagles here. Any early betting trends you've seen that have you kind of rethinking a specific line for these teams here in week 1?
The 2 PA teams, Lisa, are super strong in the betting. Tons of action for the Steelers. We spoke about it for the last 2 weeks. 3.5-point favorites all the way out to 5.5. That hasn't changed the bettors' opinions with Pittsburgh now up to 85% of the money at 5.5. I think the Eagles game is a very, very interesting one. For the last couple of weeks, that was sitting at 6.5. I know there's been a couple of off-field issues around, obviously, Zach Ertz and what's happening with the Eagles, and maybe some small injury concerns around Carson Wentz as well. That has not put any bettors off betting Philadelphia. Still, 95% of the money on that game has been for the Eagles. I just think that this is a good spot for Washington. Obviously, Ron Rivera in first season, the difficulties that he's had with his health, I think that team is going to be ready. They've caused the Eagles trouble over the last couple of seasons as well, albeit losing the games in the end. I think this is a good spot for Washington, and we'll need them badly on Sunday.
It'll be interesting. That Washington defense is looking good right now early. 95% of the money going on the Eagles. Great insight, Sharon. Thank you. Hey, guys, let's put some math to our money now. Get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like, so let's expose them here. Where do the numbers take us, Ed?
Well, they'll take us to Tom Brady's new team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, getting 3.5 against the Saints. What should we expect from this Tampa Bay offense with Tom Brady and without Jameis Winston? Well, let's look at last season, shall we? Last year, Winston ranked second in football, an average intended air yards at 10.5, which is insane. Leads to a lot of deep completions, but sometimes it can also lead to a lot of interceptions. Winston was third in bad throw percentage at 20.6. For Tom Brady, with, safe to say, less accomplished receivers, well, his average intended air yards per throw was 7.6, and yet his bad throw percentage was still high, fourth worst, right at 20.6%. Here is my bold prediction here. The Buccaneer offense will be worse under Tom Brady, at least in the early going. Give me the Saints to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, Ed, I don't know about Brady taking a huge nosedive this year, but I do know Arians' philosophy offensively is to air it out. Brady is to take what the defense gives you, and I think it's going to take time for the coach and the quarterback to gel, especially if Mike Evans is out for this game with a hamstring injury. So for those reasons, give me the Saints as a smaller number at 3.5.
And especially without a preseason for these guys to figure these things out. Another bet I like that has some good value here. The under 48.5 betwixt the Cleveland Browns, Dave Weaver's Cleveland Browns, and the Baltimore Ravens. I guess my Ravens. Part of it is I'm playing the game where I think the majority of week 1 games will go under because of the offseason upheaval. But I also think Ravens ball control matters a lot here. It will make for a faster game with fewer possessions. Last year, nobody averaged more yards per drive than the Ravens at 41.77. They did it largely by running the football. 54.07% of the time they called a run play. That was by far the most in the National Football League. Assuming the Ravens have success there again, the Browns will have to play catch-up, meaning they will pass more. And that could be a problem, especially with Baker Mayfield. Hey, you had the second highest interception rate at 3.9% to go with a not-so-hot 62.8 expected completion percentage. Yes, I know interceptions are volatile from one season to the next, but I really need to see more from Baker Mayfield to feel comfortable. Give me the under in this game.
First of all, did you say betwixt? What is this, the year 1412? I would say between. This is 2020, Ed. Also, do you have a short-term memory? Last year, the Browns went to Baltimore and shredded them. The best game of the year for Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield. So I don't see why you don't think that the Browns are going to put up points. They will. I'm fading you. I'm going over.
I'm still looking up the word betwixt. I'm going to get back to you guys on that one. Nice pull, Ed. In addition to betting the total, you guys at home can also bet the spread. So if you like defending MVP Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to cover the 7.5 points, a winning $50 bet gets you about $98. And remember, all the Week 1 lines are posted right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just click on football and then 2020 season. You'll see them all right there. And if you prefer placing a money line bet, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you extra cash with the Score 35 double winnings promotion. It's as easy as it sounds. If you place a money line bet on a Week 1 game and your team scores more than 35 points, the FanDuel Sportsbook will double your winnings. So place a moneyline bet, root for your team to win and score more than 35 points, and double your winnings up to $50. All right, guys, it's time to turn things up on this show. We like to get a little bit crazy with our More Ways wildest wagers of the week. Guys, dig into your bag of tricks here. Get nuts. Dave, I'm coming to you first. Party animal, what's your wildest wager of the week?
I'm going to get wild here, and I like moneyline bets, and I like using underdogs when I'm making moneyline parlays. So I'm going to do a 3-team parlay. These teams have to win, and they're all underdogs. And if it hits, I'm going to get just about 30-1 odds. I like the Browns to go in and beat Baltimore, like I was just telling Ed. I also think that Miami is going to surprise New England. They are a huge question mark. I think they're going to take a huge nosedive this year in New England. So I think the Dolphins can pull off that upset. And then finally, the Rams, a revenge game against the Cowboys from last year when they lost. They're coming back to L.A. SoFi Stadium, historical opener. I think they close out my parlay. Pay me the money, Pony.
Dave, I think you drank the Iron City and then opened up a case of Yingling and then made that bet. That's unbelievable. Wow. Okay. Look, the Rams, we know that Sean McVay around the goal line likes to give the ball to the running back. Todd Gurley, 2 out of the last 3 years, led the NFL in rushing touchdowns. And last year in a down year, he still had 12. So I want to figure out if it was Gurley or the offense. And that's why I'm going to bet Cam Akers, believe it or not, at 100-1 to lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns. I believe the rookie Florida State running back will end up being the primary ball toter in LA. And I think that could mean a lot of goal line carries and a lot of touchdowns. It's worth a shot with the history at plus 1,100-1.
Just wondering if anyone is sending me any of the Yingling, or like we keep talking about the beers in this show. Wonder if I'm going to get any love here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, guys, those are pretty wild bets, but you know I dig it. I'm with you. Are you guys at home with our guys on their long shots? Check out those bets and so much more on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Let's get another futures bet in here now. Dave, got to keep you here with me. We talked Steelers win total. Let's give some love to the Eagles now. Philly's line at the FanDuel Sportsbook is 9.5 wins this season. You going over or under that?
Well, I hate to give John Sheeran credit because it goes against everything I believe in. I just like to rip on his lines when they're wrong. But this is a perfect line, 9.5, because this is going to land right above it at 10. This is a very terrible division when you look at what happened last year. It only took 9 wins to win this division. I think it's going to be weak once again. I'm not that high on Dallas. You know, Washington's a 3-win team, and I think the Giants can get to 7 or 8. But I think that leaves this open for the Eagles to end up 10-6. So I will take the over, but just barely.
Hey, you go 10 wins, you're still getting that plus money, Eagles fans. Think your team can win at least 10 games? Place a winning $50 bet. You collect $100. FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Easy, legal, live. Tons of fun with us. Don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account? It's week 1, guys. What are you waiting for? Now is the time. If you sign up right now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users getting risk-free bet up to $1,000. Yep, all you have to do, download the app, sign up for an account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. It's right there on your screen. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. So I say let's party and let's spend that $1,000 and let's do it wisely with our experts, Dave, Pony, Ed. You have $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet. Let's make our viewers some money. Give me a division winner bet that you're hammering that will lead to a big payout. Dave, I'm coming to you. Who you got?
Well, let's go down to the NFC South. Now, the big favorites in here are going to be the Saints and the Bucks with Breeze and Brady. These guys were born in the 1970s. I think they're going to have a hard time making it through this year. I'm going to go to the Atlanta Falcons here, a team that was really good last year when they were playing at their best. They beat the Niners on the road. They beat the Saints on the road. They started sluggish, but they finished strong. I think they carry their momentum from last year into the beginning part of this year. Plus 700 odds, $1,000 wins me $7,000.
All right, Dave, I'm going to take a division where I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite, and that is Detroit to win the NFC North. Yes, the lowly Lions with their terrible history, but come on. The Packers were super overrated last year. They didn't deserve the 13-3 record. They didn't add to the offense. Rodgers is furious. Minnesota subtracted Stephon Diggs. He's in Buffalo now. The Bears are a disaster. They're starting Mitch Trubisky. That leaves a true franchise quarterback and a guy that's primed for a bounce-back year. Matt Stafford at the helm. You're risk-free $1,000. You collect $6,000 on the Lions in the NFC North.
It may very well be fisticuffs betwixt Pony and me because I'm sticking in the NFC North. I do agree that this is a competitive division, but I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings here and take the favorite here. Kirk Cousins, he's been consistently great in terms of completion percentage over expected. Something always seems to happen to him that is perhaps outside of his control, such as the Packers being incredibly lucky. I think they are due for regression to the mean. I think the Lions could very well make the playoffs. I just like the Vikings a little bit more. My $1,000 risk-free bet gets me $1,650.
Yes, we're going to blows here on this show. NFC North showdown between Pony and Ed. Hey, but you guys at home, you're the winners because it's plus money. And gamblers, it's available until the early games kick off on Sunday, so please keep that in mind. And let's roll. Sign up for your FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bet. Remember, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy. It's legal. It's live. Take your winnings if you hit and just get all that money back if you don't. It is that easy. It's coming back to you in site credit. The FanDuel Sportsbook app, again, MOREWAYS1000. Great stuff for our guys there. Got to get John Sheeran back in here. John, they're placing those bets risk-free. What we need from you right now is the insight on the hottest bet at the Sportsbook right now. John, the one line that everybody is betting on in week 1, which is it?
Over the past few weeks, Lisa, it's been all about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl, 15-1, almost $2 million in liability already. Expect that to grow incredibly between now and kickoff over the weekend. Hasn't been any different for week 1. Huge demand for them as the underdog going to New Orleans. We had that line at 5.5 a couple of weeks ago, all the way down to 3.5 now. A lot of money for them. About 70% of the money that we've seen in the spread at that number has been for Tampa Bay. Also a huge interest in TB12 as an underdog, which makes a lot of sense. Nothing unusual about that. Around about plus 150 is taking a lot of cash as well. I think the other line I would offer is also pretty obvious. I think the Colts as just over a TD favorite in Jacksonville is probably what you expect. Some of the early shoppers got a lot of value on that market with us. We had opened that at 4.5, Lisa. Obviously, Jacksonville kind of tanking towards a race to the bottom for maybe a shot at Trevor Lawrence next year. So not surprised to see that one. Expect an awful lot of people to fade the Jags through the first few weeks as well.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. But I tell you what, better see Tom Brady and they see plus money next to his name, and they take that plus 3.5 for Tampa Bay on the road at New Orleans. We'll see how those bets play out. Thanks, Sharon. We'll see you again in a bit. There are tons of Steelers and Eagles bets specifically available at the FanDuel Sportsbook and on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. But which line is giving you the best value? That's where I want to dig in here. Bringing in our betting experts to give us their best Steelers or Eagles wagers on the board right now. Dave, get us started.
Well, one of my favorite things to do at the FanDuel Sportsbook is adjust the line. If you think a line is off, take advantage of it. So I think the Eagles are going to win this game against Washington by 16 points. The regular line right now is minus 6.5. But if I buy it up and make the alternate line minus 15.5, because I think they're going to win by 16 or more, now instead of getting minus 110, I'm getting plus 250. So the alternate line, Eagles to crush by 16 or more.
Well, I want a lock here. I want a sure thing, and that's why I'm taking the Steelers over 9 wins. I think worst case scenario, and that would include an injury to Ben Roethlisberger, they finish at the 9-win total. This, for me, they were the leader in last year in sacks and turnovers for a defense. Those guys get better with Stephon Tuitt coming back from an injury to help the defensive line. With Roethlisberger healthy last year, Rudolph and Duck Hodges, 19 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. They were atrocious. The Steelers will win the division and definitely go over 9.
For a season-long prop bet, here's a situation where I love the player but don't love the number. I do not have Zach Ertz getting to 924.5 receiving yards. In fact, I think he misses that total by about 50 yards. Eagles certainly do want to throw deeper. That's where Jalen Reagor, if he is healthy, should come in. Deshaun Jackson was originally supposed to be that deep threat. If he's healthy, that could certainly help this Eagles offense air it out a little bit more. I think Dallas Goedert, the other tight end, takes away opportunities from Zach Ertz. There's just not going to be too many chances for Ertz to get to 924.5.
Ed, he had 916 yards last year. I was counting on him to go over. He's my fantasy tight end. I didn't want to hear you say under, but hey, I'm rolling with you. You're the numbers guy. That is the good stuff right there. Thanks, guys. Check out those bets. And, of course, all the other Steelers and Eagles wagers available right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's more ways 1,000. All right, guys, we're keeping our focus on Pennsylvania here, so let's check back in with our NFL analyst and get Dave back in here. Dave, I want to get to you and see who you're taking here for the Super Bowl. Let's skip right to it. We're starting with the first 2 teams tonight. We haven't had football on our screens in 221 days. First 2 teams take the field. Now let's get to the last 2 teams we'll see standing.
Well, you got to go with Kansas City. That would be one for me. And then the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC. So if you're looking for the Super Bowl matchup for me, those would be the 2 teams. By the way, you can make that bet right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook, picking the exact 2 teams in the Super Bowl. It's 80-1. I'll take that plus 8,000.
Great stuff, Dave. That's just a teaser ahead. I'm going to bring in all of the experts to talk Super Bowl winners a little bit later in the show. But, of course, a big factor in who will make it to the Super Bowl and who is going to play into the Steelers' success this season, of course, is the play of Ben Roethlisberger, the 38-year-old quarterback returning from season-ending surgery to repair 3 tendons in his elbow. He says he's now lighter than he's been in almost 15 years. He's feeling really good. Pro Football Doc David Chow tells us what we can expect from Ben Roethlisberger this year.
Of course, Big Ben is one of the most talked about injuries coming into the season for the franchise quarterback on his throwing elbow. The team's been very optimistic about the, quote, Tommy John surgery. Sometimes I get scared when teams feel that way, but in this case, I agree. Football players, quarterback throwing motions are different than baseball players. They recover more quickly than the 12 to 18 months a pitcher needs. Jake Delhomme and other quarterbacks have recovered that quickly before, so I'm optimistic that Big Ben will be fine. Add to it that he's shortened up his throwing motion, and that might help protect the elbow, increase his accuracy, and get the ball out of his hands a split second more quickly. and there may be upside to all this offseason rehab and surgery for the Steelers quarterback.
Great perspective there, Doc. Thank you for that. We have just a few minutes left in this show. We're going to get our expert Super Bowl picks in addition to Dave and a little more commentary on his in just a moment. But another really fun, popular futures bet that has a lot of value right now, regular season MVP. One of the most popular prop bets on the board right now. You can check it out, the FanDuel Sportsbook app, under player props. My fantasy quarterback and hometown Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, a huge favorite here, guys, not a surprise. And then you've got last year's winner, Lamar Jackson, tied with Russell Wilson for the second favorite on this list. Dave, coming right back to you. Where are you going with this one?
I'm going to go off the page here just a little bit further down at 24, actually at 44 to 1 is where you're going to find Matt Ryan. He was the MVP back in 2016. And I just told you I like the Falcons to go all the way to the Super Bowl. He is the reason why nobody throws the ball more than offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter. They're going to air it out. Matt Ryan, a huge year. Give me those big odds.
Well, the formula for me here is quarterback on a team that is going to, at the very least, finish with a winning record and the best odds possible. And that's how I get to Jared Goff. In a down year, the Rams won 9 last year. I look for them to do better. They faced the hardest schedule in the NFL in 2019. Goff at 50 to 1 has a shot.
Guys, I am based in Dallas. Let me tell you a little bit about Texas high school football. Kyler Murray played at Allen, just up the road from where I am. And to a man, a lot of high school football experts around here say that Kyler Murray is the greatest player they have ever seen in high school football. Now he's entering his second year in the NFL with some great receivers, a great offensive mind as a head coach in Coach Bro. I think all the pieces are there for Kyler Murray to be the MVP.
And I tell you what, these odds are gold if you hit. A $50 bet on Pony's long shot. I want to go back to Jared Goff in that brand new, beautiful stadium. If you bet on him, gets you $2,500 on your $50 bet. Now, I promised it. Of course, we're going to deliver. Time now to talk Super Bowl with all of our experts. So, guys, I'm bringing you all in for this one. This bet is under the championship tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check out the value you are getting on all the teams listed right now. Even if you're taking one of the favorites there in the Chiefs, Ravens, or the 49ers. So let's make some money. I already got Dave's pick a little earlier. He can expound on that a little bit. But, Pony, I'm coming to you first here. Who's your pick to win the Super Bowl?
Statistically, the biggest jump a quarterback makes in his career is from year 1 to year 2, going all the way back to Dan Marino in '84, Peyton Manning's second year in the league, Lamar Jackson last year. Rich history, and it continues. Kyler Murray, Chandler Jones on defense, Cliff Kingsbury. Believe it or not, the Cardinals win the Super Bowl.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. You know, they just have too much offense. They have everybody coming back, and they pick up Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I think is going to be Rookie of the Year as a running back, two stacks. So I think they end up beating Atlanta in the Super Bowl.
You know who else is getting everybody back, Dave Weaver? The New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees, second in EPA plus CPOE composite. He's still great. He's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Defense, 10th best in overall success rate. They're going to be just fine. They are a well-rounded football team, constantly winning the division, constantly making the playoffs. I have the Saints hoisting Lombardi.
Tell you what, this is the window, Ed, for those Saints. 12 to 1 odds there. And a lot of people are talking about a Chiefs and Saints Super Bowl. So, guys, great stuff there. Great value for these odds on these Super Bowl bets as well. And here's what it means really in dollars and cents. A $50 bet on Ponies Cardinals, if you're going there, would win you more than $2,500. You can place your bets right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. More ways, 1,000. Oh, and hey, look, it's the guy that's going to move all these lines once teams start winning. Sheeran, got to get you back in here. What do you think of all these guys' picks to win this Super Bowl? Have at 'em.
Lisa, it's time I picked on Ed. I should have known something was up this morning when he asked me to price over 0.5 mentions for the word betwixt on this show, and that cashed pretty easily. His other one that I like is also around Zach Ertz receiving yards for the season. We've actually moved that from 924.5 down 6 yards to 918.5. So yet again, Ed getting the better of the number with me.
Gosh darn it. Zach Ertz is my tight end, guys. All right, y'all. That is a wrap for us. Hope you enjoyed our betting information to help you place your bets here in week 1. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for hanging with us here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. You've been watching More Ways to Win. We're here every week. Take our experts' tips. Make yourself some cash. That's why we're here. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's free. It's easy. It is legal. And we've got extra love for our new users. Use that promo code. I've been talking about it all show long. More Ways 1000. That'll get you a risk-free bet up to $1,000, and you can do it right now. Follow us on Twitter as well at More Ways to Win TV. Enjoy the kickoffs here in week 1, and we're going to see you right back here next week.
Time for new reading glasses? Go to readers.com. Choose from hundreds of styles and colors for under $20. And now enter this exclusive TV coupon code at checkout to save up to 40%. That's readers.com.
Real players, real stories.
First, I saw the commercial, then my friend recommended Betfair, and I signed up that day.
On Betfair Casino, you can play your favorite casino games anywhere in New Jersey, including blackjack, roulette, slots, and more.
It's just so much fun.
When I play online, I prefer Betfair.
No long drives to the casino. No hassle.
If you're still driving to the casinos, save the gas and tolls. Put that money in your pocket.
Joining is easy. Go to betfaircasino.com or download the app and sign up today.
I saw the commercial on TV, downloaded the app, and within minutes I was playing.
And now, when you join, you can play your first day risk-free up to $200.
You sign up, you play your first day risk-free. How great is that?
I've played those other online casinos, but for me, Betfair is the best.
I wish I signed up earlier. It's just so much fun.
Join the fun today at Betfair Casino.
Yes, it is here. Welcome to week 1. What's up, Bears and Colts fans? We have made it. Thanks for hanging with us. You are watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kearney, inside the FanDuel Sportsbook. Illinois, it's an exciting time. Mobile sports betting is now legal and live in your state, and the FanDuel Sportsbook app is where it's at. We are psyched to have you with us and help you make some money today. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Sign up for a new account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. It'll be on your screen all show long. We're giving you a risk-free bet up to $1,000. And our team of sports betting experts are here to help you place your risk-free bet with their advice. It's More Ways 1000, FanDuel Sportsbook app, easy, legal, live, and fun. So let's get this party started. My team is ready. You're ready. I'm ready, so let's kick this thing off with your Chicago Bears. Guys, the Bears are on the road at Detroit in week 1. Chicago getting 3 points in this matchup. Dave Weaver, can the Bears cover that spread?
I don't think they can. Here's what I know about the Bears. They have not won a season opener in the last 6 years. You have to go back to 2013 with Matt Forte and Jay Cutler. So they're coming out sluggish. And the Lions are going to be better this year than they were last year. There was a point, they had a couple of things go wrong early in the season. They could have been 5-0 last year, and then they fell apart midway through when Matt Stafford got hurt. They almost beat the Bears last year at home with David Blau and Bo Scarborough as their quarterback and running back. They drafted DeAndre Swift. If he's injured to start week number 1, they've got Adrian Peterson to back up Kerryon Johnson. So a stacked backfield, Galladay, Hawkinson. Too much offense here, Pony, for me to think that the Lions are not going to crush the Bears.
Yeah, it's a perfect time for legalized mobile sports betting in Illinois because you're not going to have any fun watching the Bears win this year because it ain't going to happen very often. So you might as well make some dough betting against them, and it starts with Detroit. Look, Dave, the Bears defense would need to carry the load here because Trubisky's the worst starter among NFL quarterbacks. He had an 83 passer rating. Translation, that's terrible in 2019. But this defense is getting worse, not better. 2 years ago, they had 50 sacks. Last year, they were down to 32. I see no reason to think that number goes back up. Detroit is underrated, and they are going to blow out Chicago and cover in week 1.
That's right. Stay engaged. Bet with us. That's how you do it. All right, guys, let's stick with the same game and talk another popular bet at the FanDuel Sportsbook. You guys, it's the total. So will these teams combine to score more than 44.5 points? Andrew Filipponi, I'm thinking you're telling me that it's maybe Detroit that's going to score 42.5 of those points. How do you play this one?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a massacre, Lisa. I think this is going to be an ugly game that is going to leave Bears fans scratching their heads about their coach, their GM, their quarterback, the whole operation. This game will go over because Detroit, believe it or not, has continuity on the offensive side of the ball. They've got wide receivers, Galladay, Marvin Jones Jr. They are very familiar with Matthew Stafford, and I think that is key early in the year. Do you know your personnel? Stafford does, and that'll help this game go over.
Yeah, but you need both teams contributing. When I play an over, I want to make sure that both offenses are going to contribute to the total. If the Bears score 7 points, that leaves a lot of work for Detroit to do, and I just don't have enough confidence in the Bears' offensive playbook to play the over, so I'm going under.
All right, Bears fans, either way that you play this one, here is how you cash in on both of those bets the guys just talked about. Put down $50 on Chicago +3. If they cover, you collect more than $93. Hey, if you like the total bet, you're going to go with just the total and how many points are going to be scored in this game. A winning $50 bet on the under, if you tail Dave there, pays out more than $95. All right, now's the time to hit some futures bets. There are some popular futures bets on the board that are only available until the early games kick off on Sunday. Now, one of those is regular season win total. Keep in mind, you have to get this in before those games kick off on Sunday. Now, it's an easy over or under bet, and it's an easy one and fun one to make. For this, I'm bringing Dave Weaver back in here. Dave, let's make our viewers some money here. The FanDuel Sportsbook has the Bears' regular season win total at 8. Does Chicago go over or under 8 wins this season?
I'm sure most Bears fans would want to believe that the answer to that is yes, but this is not 2018 where the Bears would just stuff teams. They had the #1 rush defense in the league, giving up just 77 yards a game. Last year, they regressed big time, giving up 102 yards a game, more towards the middle of the pack in that category. So you have a defense that really isn't going to win that many games for you, and an offense, as Pony said, that it's going to struggle here with Mitch Trubisky if they go to Foles midway through the year. We'll see if that gives them a spark, but they have to win 9 games for me to lose this bet if I'm betting under. I see them more of a 4-12, 5-11 type of a team. So I'm not going to say that they can get those 8 wins. Give me the under, Lisa.
All right, Bears fans, you can, of course, do you, okay? Cheer on your team and your bet. Just hit up the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Take the over on this one. Get that plus money, and that winning $50 bet gets you $105. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 as well. Let's get to Indianapolis now, where Phillip Rivers is under center as the Colts get set to face the Jags in Jacksonville here in Week 1. Indy, guys, giving 7.5 in this matchup. It's the biggest road favorite of the week. Pony, can they cover?
Yeah, that line's like blasphemy. I'm just completely shocked by it. And I know everyone's piling on Jacksonville because they're quote-unquote tanking. But what has Phillip Rivers done to deserve to be such a big favorite in this game? He is a notoriously slow starter, Dave. Last 5 years, weeks 1 through 5, this is outright not against the spread. He is 9-16 as a starter. And now he's playing outside of SoCal for the first time in his career. I don't care that it's against the lowly Jags. I see no way Indy covers.
Well, how about just the fact that Indy just never covers when they go to Jacksonville? 0-5 against the spread, their last 5 trips there. And even playing in Indy, when you look at the last 10 matchups anywhere, they're 1-8-1 against the spread. They just, for whatever reason, don't match up well against Jacksonville. A lot of it probably is they're always a huge, huge favorite. And even though they may win some games, they don't cover. I think this is a great line for Jacksonville to get that extra half a point and a touchdown. So give me the Jags. I'm with you.
Yeah, I tell you what, 7.5 is a steep line on the road with that new quarterback in that system. Colts fans, if you place a $50 bet on Indy, you're going to roll with your guys and they cover. You're going to collect almost $98 on your bet and celebrate Week 1 here. FanDuel Sportsbook app, more ways, 1,000. Let's bring in the guy you're taking all that money from now. It's the odds maker himself. John Sheeran sets the line here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. I like to call him the Godfather. Sheeran, thanks for being with us. We're talking Bears and Colts Colts here. Any early betting trends that you're seeing that have you kind of rethinking a specific line for these teams here in week 1?
There's an early trend that Matt Nagy should figure out pretty quickly, Lisa, and that's when you name Mitch Trubisky as your starting quarterback, that the line moves against you. I think that tells the Bears fans everything they need to know about what you can expect from number 10. They were 1.5-point underdogs for the last couple of weeks, Lisa. It's all the way out now to a field goal. I'm seeing just complete interest in Detroit. I think the guys mentioned a really sharp side of the line. There is some local money supporting the Bears, but I think that's just blind support from a hope perspective rather than expectation. Colts is the other one that you touched on. Is really interesting line here. The bettors are piling into Indianapolis. It doesn't matter what number we hang here. 7.5 right now. I know the guys both like the Jacksonville side of it. I think you're better off waiting way closer to kickoff. I think that line, is going to move towards Indianapolis. Bookmakers all over the country are going to have a lot of liability on Indianapolis. Expect that to move over. Looks like the Jags fan club for tanking for Trevor Lawrence is going to be oversubscribed this year, Lisa.
That's some great insight right there, Sharon. Thank you. We'll see you again in a little bit. Let's put some math to our money now and get the analytics answer from our numbers guy right there joining us from Dallas, Ed Egros. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple of lines that you really like. Where did the numbers take us, Ed?
Well, they take us to one of the great rivalries in all of football, I think, Packers and Vikings. And I know Green Bay has had Minnesota's number, no matter how well or how poorly the Vikings have played. But I think it ends this year with Minnesota covering the 2.5. Packers are due for some serious regression here. Last year, they went 13-3. But if you look at their expected record, which is points for and points against, we're really more of a 10-6 squad. Won a lot of close games that I don't think they will win now that they have a much tougher first-place schedule. For the Vikes, Kirk Cousins finished 7th in EPA plus CPOE composite with an overall number of .166. Also has an elite receiving core, finished 5th in yards after catch per completion at 5.8. Even without Stephon Diggs, I think this receiving core is deep. I think they are more than capable of a blowout win against the defending division winners.
I'm going to tell you here, Ed, I think Bears fans won't like this, but they can relate to it. I believe Yannick Ngakoue, who comes over from Jacksonville to Minnesota late this offseason, will have a Khalil Mack-sized effect on that defense. It's already good under Mike Zimmer. I look for him to possibly lead the NFL in sacks, and his presence is felt here. Minnesota covers this Week 1 matchup.
And Pony, another bet that I think has some real good value. Tom Brady's new team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, getting 3.5 against the Saints. Real big question here is what we should expect from this Tampa Bay offense with Tom Brady and without Jameis Winston. Let's look at last year. Winston ranked 2nd in football and average intended air yards at 10.5. That's insane. Leads to a lot of deep completions, but also leads to a lot of interceptions. Winston was 3rd in bad throw percentage at 20.6. For Tom Brady with, safe to say, a less than stellar receiving core, well, he was 28th in average intended air yards at 7.6, and yet his bad throw percentage was still high, 4th worst, right at 20.6%. I actually think the Buccaneer offense is going to be worse under Tom Brady, at least in the early going, so I think the Saints cover this spread.
First of all, Ed, you came with a pocket square this morning. That is fantastic for week number 1. I'm going to fade you, though, despite how good you look today. The problem here for the Saints is their defense just never shows up in week number 1. The last 4 weeks, they've given up 48 points. Week number 1, 35 points, 29 points. So Tom Brady is going to get his points. They're going to score 35. Now, if the Saints score 40, more power to them. But I think the Bucs score enough points here to cover.
I'll tell you what, you see that plus 160 next to Tom Brady's name and you say, you know what, I'm going to take that. But here's what it is. It's a battle of the GOATs. If you're going to tail Dave and you think the Bucs can cover that 3.5, they're getting against Drew Brees and these Saints. Bet $50 on Tom and his new teammates. You're going to get almost $98 on a winning bet. All right, if you prefer placing a money line bet, just play this straight up. FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you extra cash with the Score 35 double winnings promotion. If you place a money line bet on a Week 1 game and your team scores more than 35 points, the FanDuel Sportsbook will double your winnings. So place a money line bet, root for your team to win and score more than 35 points, and double your winnings up to $50. All right, guys, let's turn things up on this show. Let's get a little crazy now. It's time for our More Ways Wildest Wagers of the Week. Guys, dig into your bag of tricks here. Get nuts. Do your thing. Dave, I'm going to get to you first, Party Animal. What's your wildest wager of the week?
Well, one of my favorite things to do if you're trying to make a lot of money with a little bit is to include underdogs in a parlay on the money line. So I've got 3 different underdogs here that all have to win. But if they do, I'm getting over 32-1 odds. What's going to happen here is the Browns are going to go into Baltimore like they did last year, not be intimidated. There's no fans anyways now. Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb destroyed Baltimore last year in Baltimore. I think they pull off the upset. That's the toughest one. Miami needs to beat New England, which I think they're going to do. They actually beat New England in New England to close the year last year, and now no Tom Brady, and the defense is not anywhere near it was last year. And then the easiest one is going to be the Rams as a slight underdog to beat the Cowboys to finish it off. So 3 teams that I think all can win here at pretty decent odds, Pony.
All right, Mr. GQ, all of a sudden now you're our style authority on this show. I'll try to follow up that wild bet. I like Cam Akers to lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns. So this is an unheralded rookie running back to the Rams out of Florida State, not getting the attention Clyde Edwards-Helaire is in Kansas City. Guys can come out of nowhere and win this prize. Look at last year. Aaron Jones in Green Bay had 16 touchdowns. It's all about opportunity, and we know with Sean McVay, look at Todd Gurley, led the league in rushing touchdowns twice. He likes to use running backs when he gets in the red zone. I think Akers will end up being the guy in L.A., and with the odds that you see on your screen, he's absolutely worth a shot.
That's the real question mark to me, though, is it going to be more of a running back by committee situation like they used last year when Gurley wasn't at 100%, or is he, number one, just going to be their guy from the get-go? Because if he gets to the amount of carries, you're right. I mean, that's not a terrible play at those odds.
My question is, do you even know how to fold a pocket square, Dave? Do you even own one? Is there even one in your wardrobe or in your closet somewhere?
Here, I'll just use a Kleenex. That's the best I can do right there. That doesn't look too bad. I'm going to keep it.
You're going to be crying into that thing when the Browns get beat by 30 again in week 1, Dave.
Hey, you guys can rock a pocket square, but can any of you guys rock some shoulder pads like this girl today? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. All right, guys, those are pretty wild bets, but I dig it. Are you guys with our guys on their long shots and their pocket squares? Check out those bets, much more on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. All right, guys, let's get to another futures bet here. Dave, bringing you back. We talked Bears win total. Let's give some love to these Colts now. Got a lot of intrigue on these Colts. Indy's line at the FanDuel Sportsbook is 9 regular season wins. Are you going over or under that 9?
I'm going to go over. I think this is an 11-win team. They have the meanest offensive line in football. These guys are going to throw you all over the field for 60 minutes. And the good thing is their defensive line is just as good. They're one of the few teams I can think of that was top 5 in both offense and defense last year. This is the most well-rounded team in the division by far. Jacksonville's, 2 or 3 win team. Tennessee, I don't think can duplicate their late season push last year. And Houston's got big question marks as well on the offensive line and Hopkins being gone. So I think this division is there for the taking for the Colts. They win it with 11 wins.
All right, Colts fans, think your team can win at least 10 games? Then do your thing along with our expert who plays a winning $50 bet and you collect almost $92. That's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. More ways, 1000 is your promo code. Easy, illegal, live, tons of fun with us. You guys, we have waited 221 days to get NFL football back on your TVs. Don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account yet? What are you waiting for? Week 1 is here. If you sign up now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Yep. Just download the app, sign up for a new account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. It's so easy and it takes no time at all. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We have got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. So I say, let's party, guys. Dave, Pony, Ed, y'all are here. You have $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet. Let's make our viewers some money here. Give me a division winner bet that you're hammering that will lead to a big payout. Dave, you first. Get us started.
Yeah, I mean, if I have a $1,000 free bet, I don't want to bet a team like the Ravens. You're going to win a few $100s if you're right about it. I want to bet a team that I'm going to make some big cash. So give me the Atlanta Falcons to win the NFC South. The favorites here are the Saints and the Bucks. We've got Breeze and Brady. These guys were born in the 1970s. This is the year 2020. I'm not sold that either of these quarterbacks are going to make it through the season. I love the Atlanta Falcons. Their offense is so explosive, and defensively, I think they're actually going to be better this year than they were last year, which makes them a huge threat to win this division. The odds, Pony, huge, plus 700. So my $1,000 makes me $7,000.
You make it sound like Matt Ryan's a spring chicken, though. But anyways, I like Detroit to win the NFC North. Sorry, Bears fans. And the reason why I feel that way is because if you look at their skill position players, I don't think there's a better batch, a better collection in the entire division. With Stafford, now the running back by committee with Swift, Taylor, and Adrian Peterson. Kenny Golladay led the NFL, led all wide receivers in receiving touchdowns last year, little known fact, and he gets Matt Stafford back at quarterback. So at this value, risk $1,000 to collect $6,000, a big sleeper on a team getting a very good player back in Matt Stafford.
I think I'm becoming the president and a client of the Minnesota Vikings fan club. I mentioned earlier, I think the Vikings cover in game one. Let's progress this a little bit more. I think the Vikings win the NFC North. Yeah, it's a competitive division, but you are getting plus money as far as that's concerned. Not to mention this offensive line for Minnesota in the top quarter of all offensive lines in football, potentially the best one in the division. Yeah, I wish they were a little bit more pass heavy on early downs, but I think the Vikings can still pull it off.
Chicago, we know you're familiar with those two teams as well. A dueling NFC North battle there for those bets. I love it. And this bet is only available until the early games kick off on Sunday morning. Make sure to sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bet. And remember, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. Again, get these bets in before those games kick off on Sunday morning. It's easy. It is legal. It is live. Take your winnings if you hit. Get your money back if you don't. That is how we roll here at FanDuel. All right, guys, great stuff. John Sheeran, they're placing those bets risk-free. What we need from you now is your exclusive insight on the hottest bet at the sportsbook right now, the one line that everybody is betting on here in week one. Which one is it?
Since Tom Brady signed for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Lisa, their Super Bowl outright's been by far and away the hottest bet that we have on the boards. Nothing has changed for week one. Huge demand for them as an underdog in New Orleans. The line was bet down from plus 5.5 to closer to a field goal as we get closer to kickoff. We've also seen huge interest in TB12 and as an underdog at around about plus 150 on the money line. Nothing surprising about that. When you can get Tom Brady at plus money, it hasn't happened for a long time. I think people are right to jump on that. The other line that we've been speaking about for the last few weeks has definitely been the Steelers and the Giants game. That was at 3.5 for the last number of weeks. We spoke about how that wasn't going to last. 95% of the money at that number was for Pittsburgh. The line has swelled this week to 5.5, Lisa, and right now it hasn't changed the bettors' opinion on the game at all. Still seeing about 85% of the action that we've taken on that game for the Steelers, so expect them to be very popular closer to kickoff too.
Hey, Sheeran, before I let you go, that line moves so much. Do you anticipate that it's going to continue to move? Are you going to move that line before kickoff?
I'm not sure about it moving a whole lot more. Like the guy said, you're out to 5.5. They do have the injury concerns that we spoke about earlier in the show. It's just one-way traffic in terms of the money, and I expect that to be the case over the entire country. Ben is back. The Steelers look good. They should improve on that record last year. And the Giants, who knows where they're at. Obviously, the defensive line was pretty okay last year, but just on offense, such a struggle, it's hard to see much support coming in for the Giants.
Awesome. Great stuff, Sheeran. We'll see you again in a bit. All right, Bears fans, mobile sports betting is now live in Illinois, and the FanDuel Sportsbook has tons of bets for your favorite teams and players. So this segment has been designed just for you. We're taking a closer look at which lines gives bettors the best value. So I want to get in our betting experts here to give us their best Bears wager on the board right now. Dave, get us started here. What line do you like in regards to these Bears?
Oh, it's actually an against the Bears wager. I mean, we've already not made friends out in Chicago with our selection of the Lions. So if I'm right about the Bears not showing up, I want to at least get paid better than the -110 odds of just laying the regular line, which is 3. I'm going to do the alternate line here. I'm going to buy this one up to 13.5. So if the Detroit Lions beat the Bears by 14, like I think they will, at least I'm going to get rewarded heavily. The new odds for me with this alternate line, plus 340. So I'll take the plus 340 that they crushed the Bears.
Well, I'm not making inroads with Chicago either, because I've got them finishing with the worst record, not just in the division, but the entire NFL. And I think it's because their quarterback, when you've got 2, you've really got none. Even if they go to Foles, he was 0-4 last year in Jacksonville. The guy has not been a good quarterback outside of his Philadelphia Eagles bubble. I think the Bears are like a 2-14 team, and I think they will win the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
All right, clean sweep, making fun of the Chicago Bears, I suppose. I mentioned earlier how much I love the Vikings to win this division. Well, how about my NFC North finishing order? The roulette wheel, you spin it around, and this is what I came up with. I've got the Vikings, then the Lions, then the Packers, then the Bears. And somehow this is near the bottom of the list with a payout of plus 2,600. This was the finishing order of the respective quarterbacks in EPA CPOE composite. So those quarterback numbers, I think, last year will translate to a finishing order this year with Kirk Cousins leading the way, followed by Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and whoever's playing quarterback in Chicago.
Illinois, these guys did all that research and number crunching just for you. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Check out those Bears bets and all the wagers available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app as we kick off week 1. I am so excited. I know you're pumped as well. It is week 1 of a very modified season, though, with no preseason games. So most players are relatively healthy, but some are definitely coming back from season-ending injuries from last year. The biggest name returning to the field is, of course, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. The 38-year-old had season-ending surgery to repair those 3 tendons in his elbow, but says he's now lighter than he's been in almost 15 years, and he is feeling really good. Pro Football Doc David Chow tells us what we can expect from the Steelers QB.
Of course, Big Ben is one of the most talked about injuries coming into the season for the franchise quarterback on his throwing elbow. The team's been very optimistic about the, quote, Tommy John surgery. Sometimes I get scared when teams feel that way, but in this case, I agree. Football players, quarterback throwing motions are different than baseball players. They recover more quickly than the 12 to 18 months a pitcher needs. Jake Delhomme and other quarterbacks have recovered that quickly before, so I'm optimistic that Big Ben will be fine. Add to it that he's shortened up his throwing motion, and that might help protect the elbow, increase his accuracy, and get the ball out of his hands a split second more quickly. And there may be upside to all this offseason rehab and surgery for the Steelers quarterback.
Thanks for that, Doc. Now we have just a few minutes left in this show. We're going to get our expert Super Bowl picks in just a moment. But first, another really popular futures bet that has a lot of value right now. Regular season MVP. It's one of the most popular prop bets on the board right now. Check it out, FanDuel Sportsbook app under player props. My fantasy and hometown quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, the big favorite, not a surprise there. Then you've got last year's winner, Lamar Jackson, tied with Russell Wilson for that second favorite spot there. Dave, where are you going on this list?
I'm going to go right back to my guy, Matt Ryan. And Pony, he's not that old. He's only 35. You think he was older just because he's been around so long, and he's been great for so many years. But Peyton Manning and Tom Brady both won this MVP award at older ages. I just think this offense can be flying high this year. Nobody throws the ball more than offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter. Give me Matt Ryan at 44-1 odds.
Well, I'm going to take a former number 1 overall pick who has had a 30-touchdown season 2 years ago, has been to his Super Bowl. I think has great coaching and Sean McVay and super good odds. And that is Jared Goff at 50-1 to take home the MVP award.
I'm actually also going to take a former number 1 overall draft pick, but this one in the same division. But it's Kyler Murray. This is a quarterback award. It is almost never a favorite. It's usually a quarterback leading a team to sort of a surprise result. And few things will be more surprising this season than the Arizona Cardinals winning the NFC West. Kyler Murray is my guy to take home MVP honors.
All right, guys. Now, if you take Jared Goff there, you're going to get $2,500 back on that $50 bet. All right. I promised it. Now we deliver. We're going to talk Super Bowl. Want to get all my guys back in here. You're going to find it on the app under the championship tab. Guys, you see the list. Want to know who you're picking. Pony, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm going to take the Cardinals. I think the Murray-Hopkins combination reigns supreme, and they surprise a lot of people.
I don't see anybody beating the Chiefs with that offense, and they pick up Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's going to be the Rookie of the Year. Give me the Chiefs.
I'm listening to my gold pocket square, and it's telling me to take the New Orleans Saints.
All right, guys, great stuff. Now, I mentioned the value for odds on these Super Bowl bets. So here's what it means really in dollars and cents. A $50 bet on Pony's Cardinals will get you about $2,500. You can place those bets right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Don't forget to use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Hey, and that is a wrap for us. Thanks for hanging with us and watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. I'm Lisa Kearney. Take our experts' tips. Make yourself some cash. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. It's free, easy, it's legal, and it is live. FanDuel Sportsbook app, More Ways 1000. Hey, enjoy Week 1 kickoffs. Good luck with your bets. We'll see you right back here next week.
Say you want to learn to do that thing. Big things, small things, anything. On anything, anywhere, anyhow, anywhen. Well, as long as when means now. Today's the day.
Sister Charlie, take it up and win it. Second, it's Mooney. Powerful victory.
The coronation, Watch Me as One, for Francis Henri Graffard and Pierre-Charles Boudot.
Fund your account with TVG BetCash, a credit or debit card, PayPal, a TVG prepaid card, Green Dot Money Pack, or Pay Near Me. Fund your account now. TVG.com.
Yes, it's here, Week 1 of the NFL season. What up, Broncos fans? We've made it, and you're in the right place. You're watching More Ways to Win. Thanks for hanging with us. I'm your host, Lisa Kearney, inside the FanDuel Sportsbook here at the Meadowlands. I'm joined by our team of sports betting experts. These guys are here to help you make some money. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now to place your bets with their advice. Use the promo code on your screen, MoreWays1000. We'll have it up all show long. This will get you a risk-free $1,000 bet. It's easy, it's legal, it's fun. Let's get this party started. They're ready, I'm ready, you're ready, and we're kicking things off with your Denver Broncos, who start their season on Monday Night Football at home against the Titans. Of course, big news this week for Denver. Pro Bowl linebacker Von Miller dislocating a tendon in his ankle. He will miss a significant amount of time here, guys. That injury moved the line, of course. Denver is now getting 1.5 points at home. Dave Weaver, which way are you going on this Monday Night Football game?
I'm still going to go with the Broncos. That is not going to change the fact that I think that Denver's a better team this year than Tennessee. Last year, Tennessee came into town to Denver and didn't score a point. They got skunked 16-0, and I look back and was Von Miller the main reason for that? He had 2 tackles in that game, but Alexander Johnson had 9. Todd Davis had 7. So I think even without Von, they're going to be okay here in this spot. I would have loved to have him, of course, but I think Denver's the better team here. And the bottom line is Tennessee has not traveled into the high altitude very well. The last 3 times they played in Denver, they have lost by an average of over 17 points, Pony. So I think they're going to have a real hard time winning this game. I think the wrong team is favored here.
So do I. This is why I hire Vic Fangio, a defensive-minded coach, to oversee the whole operation. Last year, they were able to, in some ways, make up for the loss of Bradley Chubb. Now they got to do the same thing with Miller. And this, to me, this bet, and why I'm taking Denver, is a fading Ryan Tannehill bet. I don't believe he can replicate in any way possible what he did last year when he led the NFL in passer rating. He is 500 in his career as a quarterback. 2 years ago in Miami, he was 1-5 on the road. I just don't believe what we saw in the second half from Tannehill last year. He regresses and the Broncos win the game and cover.
Still a lot of optimism for these Broncos, even without Von Miller, guys. Let's stick with the same game here and talk another popular bet at the FanDuel Sportsbook. The total. So will these teams combine to score more than 41.5 points? Andrew Filipponi, coming right back to you. Which way are you going on the total for this game?
Yeah, I'm going to take the under, and I'm going to do that because I think we're going to see a lot of running clock in this game. We know Tennessee's going to want to give the ball to Derrick Henry. I think it's going to be a low possession, one possession game throughout. Gordon and Lindsey splitting the workload for Denver. So with that in mind, I think it's a very low scoring game. Both teams will probably be in the teens, Dave.
Yeah, and I promise you I'm not going to agree with you every game throughout the show. We'll be going back and forth, probably with some fisticuffs, but I'm with you. I just see a lot of clock just running. Not a whole lot of incompletions in this game, so I think it's going to be somewhere around 20-14 in Denver's favor.
I'm not here for a love fest, guys, just so you know. I'm going to get that out of the way early. Hey, Broncos fans, you can bet both markets, and here's how you cash in. Put down $50 on the Broncos plus 1.5. If they cover, you collect more than $95. If you like the total bet with the guys we're just talking about, place $50 on the under. You're going to get a payout of almost $98 on a winning bet. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, now's the time to hit some futures, and there are some popular futures bets on the board that are only available until the early games kick off on Sunday. So definitely keep that in mind because, again, your Broncos kick off on Monday. One of these bets is regular season win total. It's a simple over or under bet. Easy for anyone to make and great to bet with friends. So I'm going to bring in my friend, Dave Weaver. Get back in here. I know you got my back. Let's talk win total for these Broncos. The FanDuel Sportsbook has the line at 7.5. Dave, considering the injury news with Von Miller and looking at Denver's schedule, how many W's do you see for the Broncos?
I think they're going to have a good year. Even without Von Miller, they have a young offense that I think is going to be a lot better than many people expect them to be. Melvin Gordon comes in from the Chargers, and he's going to be a nice addition to the backfield as well. You know, we still don't know what's going to happen with fans throughout the year. Early on, we know there aren't going to be any fans, but one home field advantage that is always going to be there for the Denver Broncos is having teams come in and have to play at altitude above 5,000 feet. It is a huge edge. They won their last 4 games at home last year. I think they could even run the table, even beat the Chiefs at home this year and win all 8 home games. There's their 8 wins right there. If they do have a hiccup and lose a game, there are a couple of road games that I have them pegged to win also. So I think Denver is more like a 10-win team this year and can make the playoffs. So I'm going to go over.
Man, I thought that line was low as well, Dave. I am definitely tailing you. And Broncos fans, you can cheer on your team and your wager. Tail Dave as well. Bet $50 on over 7.5 wins for your team. You're going to collect more than $95 on your bet. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Of course, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 as well. And let's bring in the guy that you're going to take all of that money from, the odds maker himself. I call him the Godfather. John Sheeran sets the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. And John, we're talking Broncos here. Any early betting trends you're seeing that have you kind of rethinking a specific line for this team here in week 1?
Very, very interesting, Lisa. A week ago, it was all the money was for Denver. A lot of local money. We said it everywhere, even MVP markets for Drew Lock. We're seeing a lot of local interest in Colorado, obviously new to sports betting since May. So that was super interesting. But I think the injury to Von Miller shows you the high regard that everybody in Colorado holds for him. The 8-time Pro Bowler, obviously ruled out for what we expect to be the majority of the season, has resulted in complete swing in this game, not alone in the line going from Denver being favored by 1.5 points to now Tennessee having that margin. So a 3-point swing off the back of the injury news, but now a total shift in money as well. I'm seeing complete domination in the field book for the Tennessee Titans on both the spread and the money line. Huge majority of the money coming for the Titans on the road. So a very big difference with just the news of that injury this week.
Certainly a significant injury, and that's playing out there in the numbers. Thank you, Sharon. Now to a game that's got everyone's attention, right? The Bucs at the Saints in the Superdome. Our first look at Tom Brady and his new teammates, guys. Tampa Bay is getting 3.5 points here on the road. Andrew Filipponi, how do you play this matchup?
I'm going to take New Orleans here. They've scored 4 touchdowns or more in their last 2 home openers, but the real reason why I think they'll continue that trend is the Emmanuel Sanders addition. This is a guy that helped San Francisco get to a Super Bowl, came over from Denver. So Broncos fans are very familiar with him. He gives Drew Brees a second option other than Mike Thomas, which I think will be big trouble for a Tampa Bay defense that is good, but it's great against the run, Dave. They were number 1 against the run last year. Drew Brees is going to air it out, and that's how they cover the 3.5 points.
Well, they better score 4 touchdowns because they're going to give up more than that. Look at what they've done week number 1, the Saints defense the last 4 years, giving up 28 points, 48 points to the Bucs 2 years ago, 29 and 35. They haven't covered in week number 1 6 straight years. They are always coming out sluggish defensively. I think the Bucs are going to actually blow them up here on the board and put up 30 or 40 points themselves. If the Saints can outscore them, more power to them. But I like the Bucs.
Hey, you see that plus money, plus 160, in fact, next to Tom Brady's name. A lot of bettors are going to take that. But here's what it is. It's a battle of the GOATs. Do you think the Bucs can cover the 3.5 they're getting on the road against Drew Brees and the Saints? Bet Tom and his new teammates, you're going to get almost $98 on a $50 winning bet. All right, let's put some math to our money now and get the analytics answer from our numbers guy. Ed Egros joining us here from Dallas. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you think need to be exposed. Ed, where did the numbers take us?
Well, they're going to take us out east to Miami and New England. And I know a lot of attention has gone to the quarterback situation in New England, but I want to talk about the quarterback situation in Miami, particularly Ryan Fitzpatrick, the most dangerous quarterback to bet on because of his volatility. Think about it. Per next-gen stats, Fitzpatrick had the 4th highest aggressive throw percentage at 20.9%, meaning the nearest defender to his target was less than a yard away. He's been that way throughout his career. Also last year, Fitzpatrick finished 7th in intended air yards per pass attempt at 8.9. If the passing game isn't clicking, well, that aggressiveness down the field could lead to a lot of interceptions, especially against that New England secondary. Cam Newton now at the helm for New England. I expect a conservative game script for that. Not too many points, not too many drives. I'm taking the under 42 here.
I'm going to tell you, Ed, you're telling me it's a toxic combination. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick who can be charitable with the ball against the best defensive back grouping in the entire NFL with Gilmore Jackson, the unit that led the NFL in interceptions. Miami's going to have a hard time throwing it. I think you're right. It's going to be a game where there are not a lot of points get scored, and that's why the under is going to hit.
And Pony, another bet that I think has some great value is the under 48.5 between Cleveland and Baltimore. Part of it is I'm playing this game where I think the majority of week 1 games will go under because of the offseason upheaval, the pandemic. You know the story by now. But I also think Ravens ball control will make for a fast game with fewer possessions. Last year, nobody averaged more yards per drive than Baltimore at 41.77. They did it largely by running the football 54.07% of the time. They called a run play, by far the highest in the NFL, in part because they were winning so many games handily. Assuming the Ravens have success again, the Browns will have to play catch-up, meaning they'll pass more. That could be a problem. Baker Mayfield had the 2nd highest interception rate. I need to see more from Baker Mayfield to be comfortable in his overall ability. So instead, I'm going to take the under here.
Well, all you have to do is pull the tape last year when they played Baltimore in Baltimore, and Baker Mayfield had the best game of his career. Nick Chubb the same, 180 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So they've got nothing to be worried about. They're not afraid to go in there, and I think can score a ton of points. So I'm going to fade you. I like the over.
All right, great stuff, guys. And in addition to betting the total, you can also bet the spread. So if you like defending MVP Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to cover the 7.5 points, a winning $50 bet gets you about $98. Remember, all the week one lines are posted on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Just click on football and then 2020 season. You'll see all the lines right there. And if you prefer placing a money line bet, let's talk about that. FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you extra cash with the Score 35 double winnings promotion. If you place a money line bet on a week one game and your team scores more than 35 points, the FanDuel Sportsbook will double your winnings. Just like that. So place a moneyline bet, root for your team to win and score more than 35 points and double your winnings up to $50. All right, guys, this is where we turn it up on this show. It's time to get nuts. Our More Ways wildest wagers of the week. Guys, dig into your bag of tricks here and get absolutely nuts. Really go deep here, Dave. You go first. Your wildest wager of the week. What you got?
Well, one of my favorite ways to really make a nice score betting on sports is playing parlays using underdogs on the money line, because you can create huge value if you can string 2, 3, maybe even 4 teams together that can all win at big odds. So let's just do a 3-team money line parlay. Here's what I need to happen. The Browns go into Baltimore like they did last year and win. Same thing last year. They were a 7.5-point underdog and they won outright. Another underdog that I like is the Miami Dolphins to go into New England. What's going on right now with no Tom Brady? This could be a rough week one for the Patriots. This might be the time to strike to try to beat them on the money line. And then the final team would be the LA Rams. First game ever in the beautiful SoFi Stadium. They're going to want to win this one, and they want to beat the Cowboys, who they lost to last year in Dallas. So, Pony, if I can get those 3 teams to win, I'm getting almost 33-1 on a 3-team parlay.
Wow, Dave, I don't think you're Rocky Mountain High. I think you're something else, to be honest with you. With that pick, I'm still trying to scratch my – wow, okay. Flummoxed, totally flabbergasted by that. Look, I like the Rams as in general this year to bounce back and make the playoffs. I think part of it is rookie running back, believe it or not, an upgrade with Cam Akers going in for Todd Gurley. The last 3 seasons, the Rams' #1 running back has scored double-digit rushing touchdowns. And this prop wager for Cam Akers to lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns has a huge return. Sean McVay, that system, they give the ball to running backs in the red zone, and Akers, I believe, will be the guy.
Well, I'm going to have my money in my FanDuel Sportsbook account on Sunday night. You're going to have to wait until, 4 months to get your money? You're playing something that's way too far out there for me. I want to get paid now.
I'm a patient man, Dave. I think that's the difference between you and me. I'm willing to make an investment and let it sit there and marinate and look at it and watch it make money for me.
Did Pony just say he's patient? That's the funniest thing I've heard all season long. Good stuff, guys. Hey, I love those wild bets. I dig it. And hey, going back to Cam Akers, by the way, patient Pony. Sean McVay said he's young, but we are going to ask a lot from him in week 1. He's certainly going to develop. We'll see a lot of him late in the season as well. You guys at home, are you with our guys on their long shots? Take Cam Akers, 45-1 odds. I'll dig it. Check out those bets and much more on the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Again, use that risk-free bet. $1,000. It's More Ways. 1,000. Easy, legal, live, and tons of fun with us. Here we are. It is week 1. We finally made it. You don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account yet? What are you waiting for? Now is the time. If you sign up now, FanDuel is sweetening the pot. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Yep, just download the app, sign up for an account using the promo code right there on your screen. It's More Ways 1,000. If your first bet does not hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. So let's party, guys. Let's spend this money and spend it wisely with our experts. Dave, Pony, Ed, you have $1,000, up to $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet. So let's make our viewers some money here. Give me a division winner bet that you're hammering that's going to lead to a big payout. Dave, get us started here. You first.
Yeah, but if I have $1,000 risk-free bet, I don't want to bet it on the Chiefs or the Ravens and pick up a few $100s. I'm going to go for a big score. So let's go to the NFC South and the Atlanta Falcons at plus 700. A $1,000 bet would win $7,000. You look at the favorites in this division, the Saints and the Bucs. You got Tom Brady, Drew Brees, these guys were born in the 1970s. Not that Matt Ryan is super young, but he's only 35. I think the Falcons offense is just going to fly this year. Too much offense. They're going to put up tons of points. If their defense can step up a little bit, we're going to need Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones to have big years. I think the Falcons can win this division.
Yeah, I think that Falcons defense got its wings clipped, Dave. But anyways, I like Detroit to win the NFC North. There's no clear-cut team for me in this division. A risk-free wager on the team, $1,000 to collect $6,000 on the team that I think gets the biggest quarterback upgrade in the NFL this season. Based on what Detroit was with David Blau last year, going back to Matt Stafford with improvements on defense, first-round pick Jeff Okudah from Notre Dame, along with Jamie Collins anchoring the middle of the defense at linebacker who's familiar with Patricia's system from New England. There's a lot of value in the Lions to win the NFC North.
Tony, I think the Lions will finish second. I do think they can get potentially that last playoff spot, but to me, the winners of the NFC North will be the Minnesota Vikings. I think at quarterback, Kirk Cousins is just a little bit better. I think the Vikings offensive line is just a little bit better, especially in terms of run blocking metrics. And I think you put that all together, my $1,000 risk-free bet, $1,650. Can't complain.
Hey, they're talking about those divisions. What about the AFC West? Broncos, your team can get 11-1 odds right now to win your division. And gamblers, this bet is only available until the early games kick off on Sunday morning. So make sure you sign up for your FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bets. And remember, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. Again, it's easy. We told you that. It's legal. It's live. Take your winnings if you hit. Get your money back if you don't. That's how we roll. Do your thing, place your bets, and cheer on your guys. All right, good stuff to our guys. Let's bring John Sharon back in here. They're placing those bets risk-free, John. What we need from you is your exclusive insight on the hottest bet at the sportsbook right now, the one line that everybody is betting on. Which one is it, Sharon?
Since Tom Brady moved to the Sunshine State, Lisa, all of the interest from the public bettors has been around Tampa Bay, them to go on to win the Super Bowl. 15-1, huge liability, about $2 million already, and expecting that to rise before we get to kickoff. Nothing has changed for the week one, Lisa. Huge demand for them as an underdog in New Orleans, as we said. The line was bet down from 5.5, which we posted initially, to 3.5 now, seeing a majority of money on the spread for Tampa Bay. People also super interested in TB12 as an underdog on the money line, around about plus 150, taking a ton of action on that too. I think the other line that I would offer as the hottest bet for week one is the Colts, just over a touchdown favorite against Jacksonville, Lisa. You kind of expect it. Some of the early shoppers got a ton of value. We were initially 4.5, but it looks like that Jacksonville tanking towards the sweepstakes for Trevor Lawrence is fully in motion. So I expect to see a lot of money fading to Jags through the first couple of weeks, and obviously no different this week with the Colts.
Great insight, Sharon. Thank you as always. And there are tons of Broncos bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. But which line is giving you the best value? That's what bettors are always looking for. I want to bring in our betting experts to give us their best Broncos wagers on the board right now. And Dave, I'm coming back to you here to get us started. What you got?
Well, I'm going to go to an alternate line here. I do like the Broncos to win. They're getting 1.5. I think they're going to win this game by 2 touchdowns. You look at the history of what Tennessee has done coming into Denver, they always get blown out. So if Denver does win by 14 or more, I want to get paid accordingly, and I'm getting pretty much 5-1 odds if that happens. So I'm okay with them being an underdog, but I think they should be favored, and I'm going to say they win big.
When it comes to comeback player of the year, narrative matters, what the voters make of the storyline. And this is a good one. With Von Miller out, let's say Bradley Chubb leads the league in sacks, which I think is very possible. That gives him a compelling case coming off an injury to win the comeback player of the year award. Eric Berry is a defensive player, won this award for Kansas City 5 years ago. It's time for a defensive player to do it again.
I am looking at the Broncos Week 2 matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, because of this pandemic, fewer fans or no fans, potentially without that unconscious home bias by officials, I'm not giving that home field bump like we've done in seasons past where it's 2.5 to 3 points. I think it's going to be more like half a point or nothing. Drew Lock is entering his second season. I think he is a relative unknown, but you do expect some positive regression as far as his overall play is concerned. I think the line of 6 is just too big. I think the Broncos can cover it.
I'll tell you what, Bradley Chubb, all eyes on you. 12 sacks as a rookie. Obviously missed a significant amount of time. Going into his third year, high expectations for him. Great pull, Pony. That's the good stuff right there, too. Thanks, guys. Check out those bets and, of course, all the other Broncos wagers available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. More ways, 1,000. We're keeping our focus on these Broncos. Dave, one of the bets that you can make at the FanDuel Sportsbook is where a team will finish in the division. The odds for the Broncos are on your screen right there. Where do you think Denver ends up in the AFC West?
Well, they're a huge price to win it. I don't think they're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why they're 11-1. But they're actually favored to finish third, and then second to favorite would be to finish fourth. I actually believe that the plus 220 odds for them to finish second is where you should go. I really think that the Raiders are still a year away, and the Chargers, they're probably the least talked about team in the entire NFL right now. They're kind of playing second fiddle to the Rams in the same stadium in Los Angeles. So I believe that the Broncos at plus 220 will finish second in that division.
All right, Broncos fans, check out the bet on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Again, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. We all know it is week 1 of a modified season with no preseason games, so most players are relatively healthy. I know you guys are thinking about Von Miller, who has that significant ankle injury, but some players are coming back from significant injuries from last year. The biggest name returning to the field is Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. The 38-year-old had season-ending surgery, repaired 3 tendons in his elbow. He says he's now lighter than he's been in almost 15 years, and he's feeling really good. We talked to our pro football doc, David Chow, and asked him what we can expect from the Steelers quarterback. Here's what he had to say.
Of course, Big Ben is one of the most talked about injuries coming into the season for the franchise quarterback on his throwing elbow. The team's been very optimistic about the, quote, Tommy John surgery. Sometimes I get scared when teams feel that way, but in this case, I agree. Football players, quarterback throwing motions are different than baseball players. They recover more quickly than the 12 to 18 months a pitcher needs. Jake Delhomme and other quarterbacks have recovered that quickly before, so I'm optimistic that Big Ben will be fine. Add to it that he's shortened up his throwing motion, and that might help protect the elbow, increase his accuracy, and get the ball out of his hands a split second more quickly. And there may be upside to all this offseason rehab and surgery for the Steelers quarterback.
Thank you, Doc. Appreciate the insight here. We have just a few minutes left in the show now. We're going to get our experts' Super Bowl picks in just a moment. But first, another really popular futures bet that has a lot of value right now. Regular season MVP, one of the most popular prop bets on the board right now. Check it out, FanDuel Sportsbook app under Player Props. My fantasy and hometown quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, is a big favorite. Not a surprise there. Then you've got last year's winner there, Lamar Jackson, tied with Russell Wilson for the second favorite guys. When you look at this list, I want to know where you're going. Dave, you're going to get us started. Who do you got?
Well, I'm pretty much all in on the Falcons being a great team this year. And for them to do that, they're going to need Matt Ryan to find his 2016 form where he was the MVP. 44-1 odds. Let's go.
Yeah, I like a system that produces big points on a winning team and a quarterback with tremendous value at 50-1. Jared Goff checks all of those boxes for the Rams.
Do pick a quarterback. Do not pick a favorite. Do pick a quarterback for a team that will fly under the radar. To me, that's the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Great receivers, great head coach. Kyler Murray wins the MVP.
All right, I promised it. Now we deliver. Let's talk Super Bowl. Tonight, we kick off the season with 2 teams. We want to know who's going to end up there at the very end. Guys, this bet is under the championship tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check out the value you're getting on all the teams listed right now, even if you're taking one of the favorites, Chiefs, Ravens, or the 49ers. So let's make some money here. Pony, give us your pick. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, as experts, they pay us the big bucks to not just go chalk, right? None of us will do that. We got to look for dark horses. And I'm with the Arizona Cardinals. There's something about second-year quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson won an MVP in his second year. Mahomes, his second year as a starter. Kyler Murray will make a huge jump. Chandler Jones to go with him on defense. The Cardinals take it all.
Well, because I get paid in breadcrumbs and saltine crackers, Pony, I'm allowed to take the chalk. Give me the Chiefs at plus 600. Just too much offense here.
I don't know what they're paying me, but it's something delicious. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. Offensive continuity matters a lot here, and not much more continuity than Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and, of course, Drew Brees.
Hey, a lot of experts are talking about Chiefs-Saints Super Bowl, so great picks by our guys there. Now, I mentioned the value for odds on these Super Bowl bets. So here's what it means in dollars and cents when you break it down. A $50 bet on Ponies Cardinals, if you're going there, would win you more than $2,500. You can place your bets now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Oh, and look, it's the guy that's going to move all of these lines once teams start winning. Sheeran, weigh in. What do you think of these guys' picks here for the Super Bowl winner?
Weaver, I know we pay you very little, but come on, man. 6-1 favorite for your pick in the Super Bowl. Nobody needs to tune in for you to pick chalk in the Super Bowl outright market.
Weaver, what you got?
He can't even say
No,
anything.
I'm just gonna say that Lisa's gonna back me. It's all about Kansas City this year. I think 6-1's too high. I think they should be about 3-1 if I was you, John.
Good job, you're not.
He knows where the home cooking is. That Kansas City barbecue is fired up this season, guys. Thanks for hanging with us and watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. Take our experts' tips. Make yourself some cash. Don't hold it against me, AFC West fans, that I'm a Kansas City Chiefs girl. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. It's free, it's easy, it's legal, it's live, and it is fun. Also use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Get that risk-free bet up to $1,000. You can do it right now. Hey, thanks for joining us here in Week 1. Enjoy the kickoffs. Good luck with your bets, and we're going to see you right back here next week.
Let's talk about America.
Not policies, not taxes, not tweets.
But how incredible our country is.
Left, right, urban, suburban, and rural.
We all deserve to live in a community that's clean, green, and thriving. We are Keep America Beautiful.
The nonprofit empowering people like you to take action every day at home, work, and in the community.
Visit KAB.org. Together, we can do beautiful things.
TVG account holders get free PPs. At TVG.com under the Handicapping tab, select free past performances. International racing is displayed on the right. Select the track and the day for a full card. For U.S. tracks, access TVG Full PPs, Basic PPs, Watch and Wager PPs, the Stats Race Lens Day Pass, and TVG Super 8 PPs. Select Handicapping Store and play today to get reimbursed the very next day. Free PPs at TVG.com.